We tried to progress to the next ward, but we aren't allowed because we're not authorized even if we are well intentioned. Fortunately for us, Florinia shows up and gives us the authority to go into the next ward. We discover this jungle and we find out that we can't enter it because we don't have the HM for a cut. In order to retrieve it, Florinia sends us to the Coral Ward to meet a lady called Amaria. We do so by going through a sewer. We meet Victoria and she asks us for a battle. We agree to our battle and take down her team of Pancham as her ace Pokemon. This random ass stranger looks to and catcalls Victoria. Victoria then sounds extremely sus because she then handles the stranger guys, and then the stranger guy then allows us to progress even further, and then Victoria wants to stay here to deal with him. So very sus things going on right now. We eventually head to the Coral Ward where we meet this blue hair lady called Amaria. Before we ask about the HM for cut, we see the Poplio stranded across the water. The water is polluted so we can't cross it, but Kane comes up, uses a lowland grimer to swim through the polluted water and save the Poplio. The Poplio then takes a liking to Kane, so Kane decides to get it as his own Pokemon. Since Poplio is now Kane's Pokemon, he decides to use it in a battle. We battle Kane and we eventually take him down with a bunch of other Pokemon. They are not going to be in my permanent team yet. If they're in my permanent team, or I'm considering them to be in my permanent team, they'll be displayed on the right. Kane then disappears and he goes to the wasteland. He then also heals up Poplio, blah blah blah. We meet Amaria and then she gives us the HM for cut. We go back to the jungle to tackle it with Amaria, Victoria, and Florinia. While traversing through the jungle, we see Florinia is tied up to this grass, which is really spooky when I first played through the game. Nevertheless, we continued on and we saw Victoria lose to this admin called Borealis. This guy was using a Crobat. Victoria loses and is now held captive. We finally make our way to the end of the jungle where we see this random weird looking ass Tangrowth. We meet another team Meteor commander person. This guy's name is Zell. They are apparently the fusion of three individuals, Z-E-L, so whenever one of them talks, when the letter goes capital, we defeat the Tangrowth that is attached to this thing called the Pulse Machine, and then once they flee the jungle-like looking area, this returns to look like a park. We then, after solving the issue, go to the next ward where we want to fight Florinia for her gym badge. We discover her school, also meet this guy named Hardy, who is a major character and a gym leader later on, very late on in the game actually. We defeat Fern because Fern is he's the top dog and whatnot, and we have to teach him a lesson once again, and we beat him in battle, taking down his Dartrix. Finally, we have our gym battle against Florinia. Since her stadium is a Pokemon school, a lot of students are there watching us. We take down the Maractus using our Combusken and switch into our Joltik for the Breloom. We then lose to the Breloom and then switch into our Kricketune to then take down the Breloom. Ferroseed comes out, we do as much as we can, switch into my Combusken and take it out. Out comes Connie, I do as much damage as I can before going down. My Lob City comes out, take down the Cottony. Up next is Cradilly. I use my Gulpin to poison the Cradilly. My Gulpin goes down, but so does the Cradilly. Out comes Cagnia and use my Kricketune to take it out. Breloom is the last Pokemon, I believe. I baby dollize it and then take it down with my Trubbish, beating Florinia. Amaria then comes in and decides we have to take down all the pulse machines across the region. We then exit the Pokemon school, go to the Jasper Ward where we meet this pink-haired little girl called Heather and her father named Corey. Corey then tells off his daughter because she is not to speak to strangers, and then he turns to face us and tells us to not remember the situation or blah blah blah. We then are actually sent here in the first place to investigate 5 missing police officers because they are all missing throughout the region.